Sometimes when you love a genre of game as I love rhythm action games, you make some questionable decisions and choices in life. And JoJo Siwa Worldwide Party is one of those. In fairness, sometimes rhythm action games have some really good game mechanics hidden behind some atrocious licenses, and I was hoping that this game would be one of those and that I could stomach some of the extremely over-the-top catchy music blatantly aimed at girls under the age of like 9 or 10 to give them female empowerment whilst also selling lots of merch. But sadly, this isn't the case. It's got some interesting ideas and I'll kind of touch on those throughout the review. I'm not going to be scathing about this game, but fundamentally as a rhythm action game there's some issues here that I wished would be addressed, because then it actually would be a tentative recommendation, because the foundations of what you expect a good rhythm game to have are all here. JoJo Siwa's Worldwide Party works a bit like Bit Trip Runner. So JoJo runs forward into various worlds that look like someone's vomited up pick and mix at every stage as you go along, and you need to jump, slide under, or smash through various different obstacles. And what I really like about this game is that each world only has one song, but you have different versions of it as you go through the world. So it will always start off with an instrumental version. Then it will kind of have a slightly stripped back vocalised version. And then for the finale for the world, you'll have the full beans version of the game, of the song, for you to then complete. And what it then does is, throughout each version, tune into slightly different instrumentation for you to then follow the beat of. Now, the rhythms are very obvious, so it'll always be like a da 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 da, like all the way through, and you'll be tapping away with all of that. But that then changes as you go through the different songs, and I really like this idea of it, because it's a bit like if you've got Rock Band and you're tuning into different instruments and therefore having a different chart depending on which you play. This takes on 10 songs and gives you essentially 30 versions of those 10 songs, which is an interesting way to extend the longevity of what could have been a very, very small and tight game to make it more interesting and unique, and you get to hear different versions of it. And I think that's a big thumbs up from me. The problem with this game comes entirely down to the fact that audibly and visually the game doesn't sync. And this is such a fundamental for rhythm action games that it just kind of makes me go, you were so close and then so far away from being actually a game that I could recommend. And the reason for this is that the audio is faster or going slightly ahead than the visuals. So when it's expecting you to hit something, you have to hit physically slightly after that point, because JoJo's moves don't seem to hit collision-wise with all of the different obstacles at the same place of where the beat in the music or the instrument is occurring. So you have to go slightly later, and then she glitches through everything. So if she's jumping up a platform, she'll jump through it. If she's sliding underneath it, if you actually hit it on time, she'll pop up early and smash it. But if you hit it late, she'll still slide through, but occasionally she'll still pop up anyway. But the game kind of goes, oh well, you've passed that hit detection box, and her head will like flow through the actual like obstacle. You're like, huh? Same for hitting things. There seems to be a bit of a like delay thought moment when you're doing repeated animations of smashing things. And so sometimes when you're, especially when it's like a da da da, because you can't help but then sync to the beat of the music, you then start to bring your animations forward, and then like the third and final one, she'll be like, oh no, because you've hit something on time with the beat of the music, but actually the game's like, no you haven't. Usually with rhythm action games, this is all solved by synchronization, and that's missing from this game, which causes the whole thing to just be like a So as you go through the game, you aren't in sync with the music or graphically either, and so the whole thing feels quite unsatisfying to play. Which is a shame, because actually the songs themselves remind me of 10 different versions of Metal Mickey songs, and I think if you enjoy that type of like cheeseball pop, you'll be in your absolute element with this game. Visually, yes, there's a little bit of rope around the edges, but at least the 10 worlds are all well themed. Like, the story is totally nonsensical, but at least there's different backgrounds and that it looks like they tried, which is a lot better than a lot of tie-ins of this type of like YouTuber caliber. And so, yeah, I think there's some good ideas and some decent enough intentions here, but the actual fundamental rhythm action element of this game is broken. And so I can only really recommend it to fans of this personality. I don't know, what do you... YouTuber? I'm not quite sure what she is. Anyway, if you enjoy her brand, but you also like cheesy pop music that could probably do quite well at Eurovision as well as a children's tea party, then perhaps you'll get much more out of it than what I did, because fundamentally I came here for the rhythm action elements and they're broke. Written review will be over on highplanegames.com. This is the type of crap that sometimes I buy for you all, so please give us a thumbs up to show you appreciate it, because I feel like I need a wash to cleanse my sins. Take care. Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a completely independent media outlet supported by people like you. The goal is to create the best possible content that cultivates a richer indie scene for games as well as music and entertainment. To find out more and to get involved, visit patreon.com/higherplane-network. Your support makes all the difference, and in return you'll gain access to bonus content and downloads. Thank you for watching.